So that's why we have the apprenticeship, so that people can not only get the training, but also have things to bring to the table when they do go to that interview, so that that long white cane is maybe a factor, but it's not the deciding factor on whether you get the job, because you'll be able to sell your skills and show your experience that you gained in the apprenticeship and use that as that leverage that you need to get that position.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of our WCAT podcast, Spilling the Tea on Digital Accessibility. Today, we have something so fun to talk about with you guys. We're talking about the National Federation for the Blind Convention that we are going to be attending as a team. We went last year in New Orleans. It was my first time having real authentic Cajun food, which is amazing. I tried alligator for the first time. That was really, really cool. It was mixed with bacon though, so the bacon kind of just overtook everything. But experiences, right? And then yeah, it was just a great time. We networked with a lot of people, met a lot of people interested in the program. Um, we um, we met Jillian Milton through the program. She is one of our current apprentices right now. She was introduced to us. We went out with her and her family to dinner to a Brazilian buffet, which was awesome. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm very food oriented, so a lot of my fallbacks is to talk about things that I know stuff about, which is food. So yeah, we met Jillian. She came through the CAT program, passed, and is now an apprentice with us. We also met Todd Elsie through the NFB convention last year. And we had an interview with him. I think you guys have already heard that episode, and now he's a project manager here at Accessibility Officer. And we also were connected to Aaliyah Dudley, who just graduated as a CAT student, I want to say like 2.5 weeks ago. So we're hoping to find more students interested in the CAP program this year. Last year, we found three ultimately. Let's see if we can shoot for four, five, six, seven. We invite you, if you are planning to attend the National Federation for the Blind Convention in Austin, Texas, to swing by our booth, just drop a line, say hello, tell Ellie and I how sucky the podcast is, or if you like it, please share that too. Always looking for advice on how to make the podcast more interesting and how to be more engaging with our listeners. We appreciate our listeners so much. I just heard that we have someone from Sweden listening. That is very, very cool, very, very exciting. Love that there's people all over the world listening to Ellie and I ramble on about digital accessibility, what's going on here at Accessibility Officer, what we're doing, and the mission that ultimately drives us forward. So yeah, just wanted to talk about the five events that we have planned for the National Federation for the Blind Convention this year. The first one, Ellie, do you want to talk about TWC and kind of just what that's all about? Maybe allude to Melody and then your husband, right? Because you're from Texas.
Yeah.
So yeah, why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So one of the sessions that we are going to be hosting is called TWC Stories. TWC stands for Texas Workforce Commission, and they are the vocational rehabilitation entity for the state. It's called something different in every state. In California, it's the Department of Rehabilitation, and
Yeah.
other places it's called the Bureau for Persons with Blindness, or the Commission for the Blind is often
Yeah, that's
a term.
Massachusetts Commission for the Blind.
Yeah, that gets used a
Yeah.
lot. Um, but anyway, specifically, Texas has failed to authorize the CAT program, the RAP program, the Getting Hired Playbook, all of the programs that we at Accessibility Officer offer, which is a shame because it is one of the very rare training programs out there that has a paid, guaranteed job apprenticeship at the end of it for our
Mm.
graduates. A lot of times, these training programs conclude and they'll say, oh, we'll help you get a job. And we all know that, helping you fill out your job interview and getting your resume together is not equivalent to getting you a job. Because as B had said before, the moment you walk into that interview with the long white cane, people's attitudes can definitely shift and put you in a negative light. So that's why we have the apprenticeship, so that people can not only get the training, but also have things to bring to the table when they do go to that interview, so that that long white cane is maybe a factor, but it's not the deciding factor on whether you get the job, because you'll be able to sell your skills and show your experience that you gained in the apprenticeship and use that as that leverage that you need to get that position. So this is basically gathering people's stories, people's experiences with Texas Workforce Commission, because basically we are their consumers. We are the people with disabilities who are relying on them to help us get gainful. They are the entity that allows us to get gainfully employed, get what they call CIE, or competitive integrated employment. That's what everyone's trying to do, right? We're trying to work in the regular workforce. We're trying to pull our weight as people, contribute to Social Security versus drawing off of it indefinitely. That's the name of the game for a lot of us, right? Not working in a sheltered workshop for less than minimum wage. That's not what anyone wants. So that's what competitive integrated employment is. And Texas is not allowing our program to be something that they authorize. So people in Texas who want to be a CAT student and who want to get the benefit from being an apprentice with us once they graduate, they are unable to currently. And we have, that I know of, at least 5 or 6 people in the state of Texas who are waiting and hoping on that opportunity to arise for them. And that to me is such a shame. Everyone who has a disability, who wants to work, should be able to embark on that journey. You should have a path for them. And when certain bureaucratic issues stand in the way of that, it's very shameful. So if you have a Texas Workforce Commission story, if they are not giving you what you need, if you are unable to get into the employment program that you want to, we want to hear your stories, because that's what this session is going to be all about, hearing the stories of the people who desperately want to get into the CAT program or into another type of program and are not being allowed to because it's not something that Texas Workforce Commission will allow. One story that I'd like to share here is my husband is blind as well, and he can't get in the CAT program. I got in the CAT program when I was in California. That's where I was living when I went through it. So California, if you're living in California, you're golden. We are authorized there. And it might take a little bit of talking to your counselor about what you want to do and about us. They may not have heard of us, and they may not have ever heard of a career in digital accessibility. I know mine didn't, but you can convince them and you can get them over the line in Texas. Whether your counselor wants to get you into the CAT program or not, they're unable to because the people above them have not authorized it. So my husband and I lived here in Texas for about a year and a half back in 2017 to 2018. And he signed up with Texas Workforce Commission. My husband is a type 1 diabetic. And when he had an appointment with his counselor, my stepdad made a comment about his diabetes that disclosed it to the counselor. It was very accidental. He did not mean to. Like, no shame to my stepdad. He just made a harmless comment about asking him whether he needed to go to the store to go pick up his insulin. And the counselor latched onto that and told my husband that he could no longer focus on his goals for employment, and that he would have to go through diabetes education through TWC. So they would send a diabetes educator to our house for about 3 hours a week. And he would this person would talk to my husband about diabetes care. At this point, my husband had been diabetic for about 6 years. So this was not something new to him. It is not the reason why he went blind. It developed suddenly in adulthood, but it was not really something that he was just learning how to do. He was already good with it. Um, but they told him that he would need to go through these months of education and that he would have to show medical reports that showed blood sugar that is normal and controlled, um, which to me is very not fair to people. Maybe that's not a very eloquent way of putting it, but it just seems very unnecessary and almost discriminatory. Like when you go to a job recruitment agency looking for a job, they are not going to be telling you that because you have a medical condition, um, that you need to go through additional education and training and requirements in order to get help. So that's his story. He's unable to get into the CAT program because it's not authorized, and he was put through that unnecessary training. Like that can't be cheap, right? Like sending someone out 3 hours a week. We live in a more rural area, so the driving
They could have
miles
paid
and
for CAT
mileage,
program.
yeah, like they could, pay for a program where, it's remote. You don't have to worry about transportation and it has a guaranteed job. What do counselors want? They want to close cases. It looks good on them to close cases. The better, the more cases they close, the better that is for them.
Mhm.
So why would they not want to invest in a program that literally has a guaranteed job outcome at the end of it?
Mm,
So that's
absolutely.
TWC Stories. Probably one of the most important ones, but one of the more serious ones that we're going to do.
For sure. And I agree completely. I also have diabetes, but I think your husband has type 1, correct?
He does, which is it's
Yeah.
very rare to develop as an
Yeah.
adult. He was in
Hmm.
his mid 20s when it happened.
Hmm.
Probably had been like going that way for a while, but it's easy to miss until all of a sudden your
Yeah.
blood sugar is 500 and something, and
Right.
the doctor
That's
says
out of his
don't
control.
pass go, don't collect $200, go directly to
Yeah.
the ER. It can
Yeah.
happen to anyone at any time. Your pancreas craps out on you. It's just unfortunate, but that's why I always say like medical, like being someone with a medical condition, being someone with a disability, it's a club that anyone can join at any time for any reason.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's, yeah, I agree with you. That does feel very, very discriminatory. I appreciate that they care enough about the health, but that should not be an impediment for them assisting, uh, your husband in getting guaranteed payment,
Yep.
guaranteed employment. So if you have a story about the TWC and you want to share it and you're planning to go to the NFB convention, please stop by. I think we're on the agenda. So come, listen, stop by, share, dialogue, communicate. If you aren't planning to attend the NFB convention, or if you're unable to, then but you still have a TWC story, please feel free to share, put it in the comments, or email Accessibility Officer. Would love to hear your stories. I know there's more people out there who are experiencing similar things. We want to get our program to every single state so that everyone in the United States has an opportunity to come through a program and get part-time guaranteed employment. Oh, go ahead.
A large number of our clients are based in Texas. I
Hmm.
can't tell you exactly which cities that we're working with, because
Yeah.
that's confidential, but there's a large number of it. And how
Yeah.
sad to say, we have so many clients where we're helping fix their website, and yet only me and Melody and me coming through the program through a different state, and
Hmm.
Melody through her own set of not great circumstances. We're the only people that are working on these things. Like,
Mm.
what wouldn't the state of Texas love the fact that their own local people with disabilities are working on cities in their own communities?
Hmm.
Like, it seems logical to me.
Absolutely. It speaks very, very strongly when you live in um, San Diego, California, and you work on fixing San Diego, California's website to make their digital components more accessible. They love that kind of stuff. So again, if you have a TWC story, please share with us. Please let us know. We know there are more stories like Ellie's, like Melody's out there, and we wanna put a spotlight on it, right? We want to be able to help people in Texas get work. Another event that we're going to do at the National Federation for the Blind Convention is the um, professional headshots for LinkedIn. We'll have Todd Elzy. I believe you guys have already heard his episode. He will be there. He has dabbled in photography, and he will, we'll have a fun background, professional, and come take your professional headshot so that you can upload it to your LinkedIn or any other place where you need that kind of picture. So please swing by, get that done professionally. It'll look nice and professional and neat. And we would love to, just hear from you. Hey, what field of work are you interested in? And it's just a great way to network and dialogue with us at Accessibility Officer. So if you're planning to attend, please swing by there. The next one that we are going to do is the Accessibility Officer Jeopardy. That one will be super fun. We'll play. We'll have a couple of people kind of just face off against each other until we come up with a few finalists, and then those finalists will face each other in digital accessibility. So we'll give them random questions and categories, and we'll see who ends up with the winning pot of Monopoly money. Because I love y'all, but I'm not giving you my real money. I'll give you Monopoly money though. But it's a huge hit. We play digital accessibility a lot during the CAT program because I'm a proponent for trying to gamify things and make it more fun and interactive. Um, and uh, and just I feel like it's always fun for the students. So I'm hoping that this can translate over into fun for the people who attend, whether that be to participate or to observe. Last year in New Orleans, it seemed to be very, very fun for people. I think people had fun showing up and learning WCAG. I was surprised by how many in the crowd knew some bare basics about WCAG. That was very cool because, I'll be honest, before I joined the CAT program, I knew nothing about WCAG. So very, very interesting to see that knowledge kind of circulate. And we're just trying to uh, spread that around and make sure that people know that ignorance is no excuse. So yeah, come enjoy some fun time, some competitive time, and we hope to see you there at Accessibility Officer Jeopardy. The fourth event is something that we are going to call the Accessibility Testathon. Basically, we've chosen a nonprofit organization, and we asked them if they would love us to audit their uh, digital components, because we again want to put our money where our mouth is. We love digital accessibility. We think it's important, and to that end, we want to help a nonprofit which might not have the funds to pay for an audit to get an audit. And we're going to ask people to sign up and challenge some of our AO people to see how many violations can be found on these digital components. It'll be a fun time. Again, more competitive time. Let's see what you can do. If you feel like you have a strong basis in accessibility, please come by, sign up, and join the Testathon. I think that one's going to be a huge hit. And ultimately, no matter if you submit one or 300 violations, um, it's going to help this nonprofit. It's going to make sure that their components are more digitally accessible. Because again, these companies, these nonprofits, do not have the funds to ensure that their components are accessible, or they might be coming from a place of not knowing that their stuff is inaccessible. So I think it'll be super, super fun and helpful to really, really get that stuff accessible and usable, um, so that they can speak with 100% confidence. Hey, This is our mission at our nonprofit, and we are WCAG 2.2 AA compliant. How awesome is that to say? And then Ellie, do you want to share more about the Cabana?
Yeah, that's going to be so fun, guys. So on Monday, the 6th of July, we have rented, I think, two cabanas, um, poolside. So there's going to be some music, there's going to be networking opportunities, there's going to be some karaoke that we have planned. So I know so many of us in the blind community are musical, so that's definitely an opportunity to come out and sing something. Um, we keep trying to convince their CEO that we can, dunk him in the pool about 9 times. That's the number that we think would be sufficient.
And that's just being
um,
kind. That's the lowballing it, you know.
yeah, we just have to, making it accessible, right? Dunk tanks are expensive, right? And I don't know about y'all, but I'm blind as a bat. I'm gonna send that ball flying who knows where, might accidentally knock him upside his head with it. Um,
Oh,
so
yeah, for sure. That was an accident. You only gave Tanner a concussion. That was an accident.
I think that the balls that they use for dunk tanks are like tennis balls or like little soft rubber balls. I would hope.
Hey,
It's been
you'd
a
be
while since
surprised by
I've
what
seen
you
one.
could do with some people have. So I throw really weakly. I have a sissy throwing arm, but you'd be surprised by some people they throw a ball really hard.
They got
So
some aim, yeah, there's
yeah,
some force behind it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But any other ideas for like activities that we can do? We're gonna be there for like 7 hours. It starts at
Hmm.
1 p.m., I believe, and we have it until like 7.
I think it's 12 to
So
7.
is it 12? Yeah,
Yeah, it's 12 to 7. So
it's gonna be a long afternoon of fun in the sun, that's for sure.
hmm.
So um definitely come out, say hi, grab yourself a drink, get to know us, get to know our team. There's gonna be a large number of us, representation from accessibility officer there. I
Hmm.
think there's gonna be about 8 or 9 of us in total,
Hmm.
maybe more.
Yeah, something like that.
Um so it's going to be a whole party just within ourselves. And we would love if you guys come and join us and get to know us and about what we can do.
Karaoke.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely karaoke. Show us your musical skills. I keep joking that we have enough talent just within our team to make like a band slash choir situation. Musical
Hmm.
talent is pretty prevalent in the blind community. So yeah, that's going to be the probably the most fun event. I mean, the other ones, the Jeopardy and the Testathon are going to be definitely a lot of fun. Um, but this will be more general fun.
Yeah. And if you have ideas for other things we can do for 7 hours, because I don't know about you, but I couldn't karaoke for 7 hours. Please let us know in the comments. We love that engagement. We love the dialoguing back and forth, um, and how you guys are continually listening to our podcast and sharing. I think recently we hit 100,000 views, and it honestly just blows my mind. Just I feel so humbled by the fact that I have, random strangers out there who I don't know who are listening to me and Ellie ramble on for, you know, 15 to 40 minutes about digital accessibility. So, super thankful, feeling blessed. Thank you guys so much for doing all of that. We appreciate you guys. But yeah, if you guys have fun ideas that you guys would like to see happen at um, the Cabana party, then let us know. If you plan to attend the Cabana party, let us know. Swing by. Um, I think again, we're also on the agenda, right, Ellie?
We sure are. Yeah, all
Yeah.
of our sessions are listed on the agenda.
Mhm.
And you guys, I commend each and every one of you who are taking the time to come out to NFB. I know traveling for these conventions can be pricey,
Mm.
and can be intimidating because,
Hmm.
especially if it's your first time traveling alone as a person with disabilities, it can be a little scary. Not gonna lie, having to get yourself to the airport, hope that the agent that they send to get you from point A to point B, if that's the route that you choose to go, is to get assistance. Um, you know, we always have varying levels of competency from those individuals, as well as varying levels of grasp of English and lots of other things. So I know for me, I always have a little bit of travel anxiety, like, okay, like, please don't forget me at the gate,
Well,
or,
you
you
have a
know,
legitimate concern. You got left at the gate one time, didn't you? By
I sure
Spirit.
did. By the spirit agent left me at actually they left me
Sorry,
at
I shouldn't
the
laugh, but that's kind of funny.
yeah, they left me at the right after you go through security. Um,
Hmm.
so my bag went onto the plane. I did not make it onto the plane. And the person told me that they were going to be right back, that they had to go use the restroom. And they never came back to take me to my actual gate. And I was younger at the
Wow.
time and a little bit less good at advocating for myself. So I did the
Hmm.
worst thing that you can do in that situation, which is sit around and wait and hope that they remember you. They're not
Hmm.
going to remember you. I mean, they might, but your flight, once the door, like the flight hadn't taken off by the time I advocated for myself and was like, where the heck did the agent go? I need to make my flight. The door had already been closed. And if
Ah,
anyone
yes.
knows about air travel, once that door is closed and the jet
That's
bridge
it.
is disconnected from the plane, that's it. Nothing else is
Yep.
getting on or off of that plane.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate. And because it was Spirit, which RIP Spirit, is they're no longer with us in the same way that they were because of going out of
Yep.
business last month, that they did not reaccommodate me very well. They basically were like, tough luck. I'm sorry about that. We have a flight going out tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. That's always a fun situation when you're an
Yeah.
hour away from the airport and you might have spent $60 in Uber to get to the airport. Now you got to spend another
Mm.
$60 to get home and then another $60 the next day to get
To
back
get
out
back.
there. It can snowball into this whole thing that's just not super simple to deal with because of the fact that you might not be able to drive and that you can't see signs to be able to navigate the airport entirely 100% independently. So,
Yeah.
you know, squeaky wheel gets the grease definitely applies here. If you are being abandoned somewhere, don't stay quiet, don't sit
Yeah.
idly.
Speak up.
Um, the public has this unfortunate habit of assuming that someone else is going to handle something. Um, and they don't always step forward and be the one to say, hey, you need help. Sometimes you have to assertively say, hey, I need help.
Hmm.
I'm going to miss my flight, and
Yeah.
they don't really want to deal with unhappy customers. So if you make it like you want to be pleasant as possible, but firm. Don't get emotional, don't get overwhelmed, but be very firm about what you need to happen. This is what's going to need to happen. Otherwise, I'm going to miss my flight, and I cannot have that happen. Um,
Yeah.
so and travel with everything that you can possibly need. I also had an issue where I forgot my ID getting on a plane.
Oh no.
That is the worst
Oh
thing
no.
that you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally the worst. They won't let you on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not
That's
even if you
rough.
give them a picture of your ID, they still will not let you on because
Yeah.
and that's to protect you. Everything since 9/11 has gotten a lot tighter. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I also one big piece of advice I give is, and maybe this will vary, they say they can't accept tips. I always bring a little bit of cash on me to tip. Um, and make them accept it. Just kind of insist. It makes my mom's a hairdresser and she always says tip stands for to ensure, which is hilarious because ensure does not start with an I, but not that way anyway. But to ensure proper service. I think insure we would take that from the insure like insurance
Yeah.
versus insure
Yes.
like with an
Yeah.
E. But
Yeah.
that's it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. It makes people feel appreciated. It can say, it can make the difference between I hauled this nice blind person across the airport and got them on their flight and they gave me $3 for it versus I hauled this really rude complaining blind person across the airport
Mm.
and they told me I suck. Like, you want to make a good impression and that can
Yeah.
definitely help.
For sure. Well, guys, we are so thankful. If you plan to fly out in early July, swing by, let us know. that you listen to our podcast, come meet Ellie and I. Uh, we'll be at the booth for the exhibit hall. I think that starts on Saturday at 9:30 in the morning. We'll be there all day, Saturday, Sunday, and part of Monday. Swing by all of our events. Would love to meet all of you guys, even if you just want to say hi. Would love to talk more about digital accessibility. This is something that we have a lot of passion for. Otherwise, that's why we're here. Would love to, meet people who are interested in getting a job in digital accessibility. We have these AMAs all the time that Tanner hosts, and we even had a podcast episode about the CAT program, but without being able to directly being face to face with me, I feel like you don't get the full picture. So come ask questions. I'm an open book. Ellie is an open book. AO is an open book. We love the engagement. Again, I can't say that enough. So humbled by the number of views and number of hours that people are listening. That just blows my mind you know. So we appreciate you guys. Shout out to our listener from Sweden this week. If you're that person from Sweden, let us know who you are. What do you do for work? We'd love to know more about you, how you heard about our podcast, and what do you think of it? How can we make us ourselves more engaging? That's ultimately the end goal, right? I'm not worried about the number of listeners. I'm not worried about the number of downloads or hours, though those are pluses. I'm worried about, do people who listen get something out of what I'm saying? And that's the end goal. I want you guys to get something out of the few bits of knowledge I've been able to glean, and to see if you are, I think it's glean. I keep saying gleam. Um, to
Mhm.
see if you guys are able to just, take away something from Ellie and I rambling. So, hey, thank you guys so much for listening. We so appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening to the WCAT podcast, where we spill the tea on digital accessibility. Ellie, any last words to close us out with? Ready? Give like 2 seconds and go.
Yeah. So my words of advice for this is when it comes to getting a job, it's not always what you know, the degrees you have, the experience you have. It's about who you know.
Mm.
So my biggest piece of advice is conventions like NFB, ACB, um, CSUN, CSUN, I think is the
Yeah,
common word
Sisan.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Attend those, go to them, because that's where you're going to meet people, and people hire people. That's a Tannerism. Um, he always says that,
Mhm.
and it's true. Every time that I have successfully gotten a job, it has not been through an interview. It's been through people getting the opportunity to know me as a person and then giving me that opportunity. Because when a CEO or a hiring manager has a position that's open, they kind of have an idea in their mind already of what they would like to see in a candidate. And if they are thinking about their ideal candidate for a position, and then they're thinking about the people that they know, they might just fill that candidate with you if they know that you would fit their picture of that perfect candidate. And the way to draw that picture for them, the way to meet them and show them who you are, is through networking events like this. So that's my biggest piece of advice. And even if you can't attend a convention in person, because we all know, as I said, it's expensive, air travel is expensive,
Mhm.
hotels are expensive. Um, there are virtual events, webinars. Tanner's AMAs are one example of them. That we do them quite
I think you can
frequently.
actually attend the NFB
Y-
virtually too.
Yep, you can.
So,
Yep, look for virtual options to attend these
mhm.
conferences, um, and find yourself, especially if you're interested in digital accessibility, find yourself the online communities and start to engage there. So A11Y Slack, if you're a Slack user, is a big one. Reddit accessibility, um, the different forums on WebAIM.
Yeah.
Those are all places. GitHub has some forums where people discuss WCAG. all of those places are where you can start to get your name out there. And then that can even help you when you go to a big conference and be like, oh, I'm Bob Johnson, and I asked this question in the A11Y Slack group about this. You're the one who answered my question, whatever. Because oftentimes, like those big names in accessibility will respond to those questions. And that just helps build your knowledge and shows that you're willing to engage. So those are some ways to get your name out there and network with people.
All right. Thanks, Ellie. Thank you to all the listeners. Again, people hire people, and we want to give you guys opportunities for employment. So this is the whole point of the podcast, to educate and to share. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time. Spill the tea on digital accessibility.
Subscribe to the WCAT WCAT podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Links below.